of military leaders from troop contributing countries, the architects, the upholders, and the messengers of peace. You reflect the strength of an institution that has, for nearly 8 decades now, stood out as a beacon of hope in a conflict-ridden world, United Nations peacekeeping. As Foreign Minister of a country that has contributed immensely to this cause, I'm here to share our perspectives, not only on the challenges before us, but also on the principles that must guide us in shaping the future of global peace and security. India approaches peacekeeping from its civilizational ethos. We see the world as one family, a vision enshrined in the timeless phrase of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. This is not just cultural wisdom, but an outlook that anchors our worldview. It is why India has consistently advocated for justice, dignity, opportunity, and prosperity for all societies and peoples. It is also why we place our faith in multilateralism and international partnerships. The global challenges we face, from pandemics to terrorism and economic instability to climate change, these challenges are interconnected and they transcend national borders. Our responses, therefore, must be more cooperation, transcending the competitive aspects of international politics. The natural starting point for such collaboration is the United Nations. I've just come back from New York after attending the 80th UN General Assembly. And let me share with you some key insights from that experience. One, the United Nations today still reflects the realities of 1945, not of 2025. 80 years is a long time by any standards. And during this period, the UN membership has actually quadrupled. Two, institutions that fail to adapt risk irrelevance. Not just irrelevance, but eroding legitimacy and leaving us without recourse in times of uncertainty. Three, for the UN to be effective, it must reform, becoming more inclusive, democratic, participative, and, as I said, representative of today's world. And four, it must amplify the voices of the developing world and reflect the aspirations of the rising global south. The UN's legitimacy, and I would say the UN's credibility, depends on it doing so. Now, there is a strong desire among members of the UN for a reformed United Nations, including expansion of the permanent and non-permanent categories of membership of the Security Council. However, the process of reform itself is being used to derail that agenda. As a result, I'm sorry to say, historical injustices still continue. India affirms its commitment to assume greater responsibilities in a reformed United Nations and in a reformed multilateralism. Now, this brings me to the core of our discussions, UN peacekeeping. Since its inception, it has been a testament to what we can achieve when nations unite for a larger cause. Our peacekeepers have been really a powerful force for good. These brave sons and daughters put their lives on the line to protect civilians, to deliver humanitarian aid, and to support fragile peace processes. They are the real torchbearers of multilateralism. Now, let me honor today the more than 4,000 UN and 182 Indian peacekeepers who have made the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty. They stand out as a testament to bravery, and their legacy remains a solemn call to action for all of us. We must ensure that their message lives on. Now, as you would all be aware, peacekeeping was not originally envisaged in the UN Charter. The very concept of peacekeeping has evolved over the years. Currently, it draws its mandate from the decisions of the UN Security Council. Changing geopolitical dynamics, the complexities of world affairs, and the nature of conflicts have all shaped the demands of peacekeeping. We all recognize that peacekeeping has been the flagship endeavor and the most effective instrument of the United Nations. When it comes to peacekeeping operations, allow me to flag 7 concerns for your collective consideration. 1, troop contributing countries as well as host states must be consulted while formulating mandates of peacekeeping missions. 2, peacekeeping can only be effective if mandates are commensurate with the resources allocated to the missions. 3, these mandates must always be realistic and always be clear. 4, the primary responsibility for protection of civilians still lies with the host state. 5, technology and peacekeeping go hand in hand and is, in fact, a force multiplier in peacekeeping operations. As a nation that has embraced innovation, let me underline that India stands ready to be a technology demonstrator to enhance the operational capacity of peacekeeping. 6, to address the needs of strategic communication, we must strive to counter mis- and disinformation. The role of ICT is therefore very important. And 7, paramount importance must be given to the safety and security of peacekeepers. We must always ensure that perpetrators of any attack on them must be brought to justice. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the nature of conflict has clearly changed. The clear lines of state-on-state warfare have been blurred. We often face on the ground a complex and ambiguous matrix of non-state actors, of armed groups, and of terrorist organizations. These entities operate outside the norms of international law, employ asymmetric tactics from IEDs to cyber warfare, making our work more dangerous and more unpredictable. The traditional role of a peacekeeper as a buffer between 2 warring states has also evolved significantly. Today, our peacekeepers must be prepared to protect civilians from harm, respond to humanitarian crises, and yet operate in environments where the enemy wears no uniform and respects no rules. This difficult reality demands a new paradigm for peacekeeping. It requires enhanced training, sophisticated technology, and a reevaluation of our mandates. We must equip peacekeepers to deal with asymmetric threats, ensure their own safety, and yet deliver on their missions. That means investing in surveillance systems, protective gear, cyber capabilities, and mission preparedness of the highest standard. It is likely that the peacekeeping budget will see headwinds. We will need to see how we can overcome this constraint while adhering to the core principles of maintenance of peace and security. This should also be an opportunity to undertake measures of making UN peacekeeping more financially and administratively rigorous, like winding down obsolete missions that have outlived their purpose. For India, participation in UN peace operations is a profound expression of our responsibility as a member state and of our belief in global commitments. Since inception, we have contributed over 300,000 troops cumulatively, making us the world's largest troop contributing country. Our peacekeepers have served and are serving with distinction and professionalism in some of the world's most challenging theaters. This includes South Sudan, Lebanon, Syria, and the DRC, amongst others. This sustained commitment stems from our conviction that peace anywhere strengthens peace everywhere. We also take great pride that we have walked the talk in our commitment towards women, peace, and security. Our women peacekeepers have demonstrated the unique impact that they have. They build trust in communities and give hope to vulnerable populations, especially women and children. We believe that it is no longer a question of whether women can do peacekeeping. Rather, it is whether peacekeeping can succeed without women. I recall that in February 2025, India hosted the first ever international conference on women peacekeepers from the Global South, bringing together women peacekeepers from 35 nations. More recently, in August this year, India hosted the UN Women Military Officers Course, which saw participation from 15 countries. I'm also glad to note that this August gathering has, over the last 2 days, deliberated on issues closely associated with and important to the maintenance of peace and security. Peacekeeping is and will remain an important instrument of the UN in this pursuit. We need to adapt and we need to change according to the times so as to make peacekeeping more effective and more resilient. This is best reached through consultations and engagement between member states as we discuss the evolving nature of the future of peacekeeping. The Global South has both a particular contribution and a particular relevance insofar as peacekeeping is concerned. Unfortunately, the maximum number of conflict zones are located there. In fact, the requirements of the Global South are themselves distinct, calling for unique, regional, and even local solutions. This is why conferences of this type are valuable in engaging on a single platform in the search for optimal solutions. India has always stood with our brothers and sisters of the Global South and will continue to help with our expertise and long-standing experience across all domains, including in peacekeeping. Let us therefore commit to working together, collectively, constructively, and by consensus, to shaping a renewed vision of peacekeeping, one that honors the sacrifices of the past, that adapts to the challenges of the present, and that commits to the promise of the future. I thank you for your attention.